What is going on, Crimson Tide fans? Appreciate you guys joining us here on the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. Coming up on today's show, we are continuing our position group breakdowns, and today it is the offensive line. I think it's pretty fair to say, you think back to last year, the offensive line has been kind of a disappointment. Really, I think going back all the way to probably that 2020 season, the offensive line for Alabama probably hasn't played as good as a lot of us think they should have been playing. Now, I think to be fair, there was a lot of rotation on the right side of the offensive line last year. You had Wilkin Formby and Elijah Pritchett kind of both going in and out at that right tackle position, that right guard position. You had Geno, VanDeMark, and Jaeden Roberts also kind of moving in and out. Really, the only consistency you had last year along the offensive line was Tyler Booker kind of at that left guard spot, and then Parker Brailsford at that center spot. And I say Tyler Booker kind of at that left guard spot because you guys remember early in the season, Tyler Booker actually for a game had to slide over to that left tackle spot when Kadyn Proctor got injured. And I also think that hurt him a little bit during the season in terms of his development, although I think going back and kind of looking at Kadyn Proctor's season, did a whole lot better than he did in his first season as a freshman. So we're going to be breaking down the offensive line, kind of talking about the expectations and also breaking down what Alabama has coming up here in the future. Before we get into that, though, this is where we kind of sit right now in terms of our college football subscriber rankings here at Chat Sports. Got the Michigan Football Report there in first. Then the Ohio State Football Report, we just started that channel, but they've been growing really, really fast coming off that national championship game. My goal is to finally catch our Michigan Football Report this season. We put out more videos than them. We go live for every single Alabama football game. They go live for a couple of games, but for the most part, we're putting out way more content than the Michigan Football Report, so I want to catch them this year. Stay up to date on all things Alabama football related, whether it's recruiting, whether it's these positional breakdowns, whatever it is, we have got you covered. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button for me right now. All right, as we have talked about here in the recent past here, the Pro Football Focus rankings is kind of what we've been kind of basing some of these things off of. Now, you can kind of take it with a little bit of grain of salt, as we'll touch on here in just a second, but as of right now, they've got Alabama's offensive line as the number one offensive line in the country this year. Utah is at number 2, Texas A&M at 3, Florida at 4, and then Oregon rounds out the top 5 there for the offensive line. And I say that, you can take it with a grain of salt because they also had Alabama's offensive line as the number 1 offensive line going into last year as well. And I think you can make the argument you still kind of have the same amount of holes going into this season that you did last year as well. This is what Pro Football Focus said about Alabama's offensive line. It's a little bit long, so bear with me here. He said for the second straight year, the Crimson Tide have the top offensive line in our rankings. They're the only school in the country to feature 3 offensive linemen who made the top 10 of my positional rankings in left tackle Kadyn Proctor, center Parker Brailsford, and right guard Jaeden Roberts. Proctor is my number 3 offensive tackle in college football and has put up elite tape against elite competition. Across 3 career games against Georgia, South Carolina, the former 5-star recruit has a 90.4 pass blocking grade with only 1 pressure allowed on 96 pass blocking snaps. Parker Brailsford is the second most valuable returning Power 4 center since 2023, according to Pro Football Focus's wins above average metric, and is my number 7 interior offensive lineman in the country. Jaeden Roberts placed 10th on that list and has a 77.8 Pro Football Focus run blocking grade since 2023, 10th among Power 4 offensive guards. Alabama does have a couple of unproven players at right tackle and left guard in Wilkin Formby and Texas A&M transfer Cam DewBerry. That is if Cam DewBerry is actually the one that ends up winning that job. We'll touch on that here in just a second. But the above trio is good enough for it to lead on this list. So let me know here at the pinned comment of today's video. What is your confidence level in Alabama's offensive line going in here to the 2025 college football season? 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Let me know what you guys think. I'm probably right now sitting at about a 6.7. Make it a 7. You could round it up. It's not too high, but it's not too low either. I definitely think this group of guys is going to be, they should be pretty decent for Alabama. But as we've talked about since 2020, I don't think Alabama's offensive line has been as dominant as it was in the previous years. So let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's video. All right, just overall here, I think your biggest question mark along the offensive line is going to be that left guard battle, and it's also going to be just Wilkin Formby in general. The left guard battle, who's going to end up winning that? Is it going to be Cam DewBerry? Is it going to be Geno VanDeMark? A couple months ago we did our, position group, predictions, and I actually had Geno VanDeMark up there just because I thought, coming out of last season, I thought he played pretty well. I thought he garnered a lot of trust within that coaching staff. So I had him up there, but really, honestly, it's a toss-up between Geno VanDeMark and Cam DewBerry at left guard. And then also, can you get some consistency from Jaeden Roberts? Just being able to stay on the field last year was a big question mark for Jaeden Roberts. And I've said it 100 times on this show. Going into last season, I thought Jaeden Roberts was going to be a player that could play himself into the first or second round of the NFL draft. Well, just wasn't able to stay consistently on the field. I thought when he was on the field, he played pretty well, but, he was playing through pain all year long, and that's just not really a recipe for success. And you talk about the continuity there along the offensive line. You really need a unit of guys to stay together, and unfortunately last year for Alabama, that just was not really the case. And then you also had those question marks at that right tackle position as well. I think any way you slice it, the right tackle position last year for Alabama was just a massive liability. I thought in the first game of the season, Wilkin Formby played incredible. In the second game of the season, Wilkin Formby played like a 2-star, going out there, playing for Alabama as a true freshman. It was really, really bad. And I think Wilkin Formby's the first person to tell you that is not good enough. And Elijah Pritchett ended up coming in at the end of that South Florida game, and Alabama scored, 3 touchdowns on the 6 plays that he was out there or something like that. But when you're going through the rest of the season, he had 2 or 3 games in a row, that Wisconsin game, that Georgia game. He played pretty damn good. Then after that, it was just super, super inconsistent. Towards the end of the season, he started, getting benched, putting Wilkin Formby back out there. Elijah Pritchett not on the team anymore. He has transferred. I believe it was to Nebraska is where he ended up going. But it's going to be Wilkin Formby this year. Whether we like it or not, it's going to be him. And I think everybody would just probably behoove everybody to just go into that mindset, have that trust in Wilkin Formby, that going into this offseason, he is getting better. And what, we'll see what happens next year, because there are some very, very talented freshmen as well that we'll talk about who could possibly take that job from him. We will see. Hope it doesn't come to that. I hope Wilkin Formby plays incredible this year, but that is where we are at right now at that right tackle spot. We'll continue on here in just a second, but I know it is summertime, and I know it is still really hot out there, but this is a perfect time of the year to actually get a jacket. You guys can get this Alabama football quarter zip here. Usually, the summertime is when jackets go on sale. You don't want to wait till the wintertime to get a jacket, because it's originally $90 on sale right now for only $55. I absolutely love this quarter zip right here. All you guys got to do is go to chatsports.com/Bama QTR zip. QTR zip stands for quarter zip. It's right down there. You guys can see it right there. Originally $90. You guys can get it on sale right now just by going to our link, chatsports.com/Bama QTR zip. I'll put that link down in the comment section and the description of today's video. All right, let's continue kind of talking about this just a little bit. I kind of mentioned the left guard battle that we're going to talk about, but I want to kind of go into that just a little bit more. And then we'll go in a little bit as well to some of the backups and who we could possibly see this year for Alabama. Talk about that left guard spot. I kind of honestly gave Geno VanDeMark a little bit of crap last year at the beginning of the season. Not warranted at all. That's totally on me. I thought when he was in there, he got better and better and better every single time he played. Cam DewBerry, you got him out of the transfer portal this past offseason going into the springtime, and he's played over 1,000 snaps in a couple of seasons here for Texas A&M. Geno VanDeMark, by the way, has also played 908 snaps in his career. But Cam DewBerry is a guy that has played a lot of snaps. Why he hasn't really been able to stay on the field, I'm not quite sure. I don't know really if it's more injury related or execution related, but this is a guy over 1,100 snaps played. He's played a ton. He's got a ton of SEC experience. Can he come in, maybe just a new scenery here, and play better for Alabama going into this 2025 season? I think this at that left guard position is going to be a battle that we could very well see go in all the way probably through that Georgia game. It could take a few games. Even last season, like we talked about at that right tackle spot, it was kind of up in the air all season long. So really hope somebody is able to solidify that left guard spot. This is Cam DewBerry's last year of eligibility, so if he wants to really improve his draft stock this year, he's got to make it count. I think Geno VanDeMark might have another year of eligibility as well. I'd have to double check on that, but those are the two guys right there that are going to be competing for that left guard spot. So let me know down in the comments section of today's show, who wins that left guard battle for Alabama? Like I said, it might go into the season as well. Is it Cam DewBerry type KD? Is it Geno VanDeMark? Let me know what you guys think. Type GV down in the comments section. All right, some of the backups for Alabama here as well. I'm pretty excited about some of these players. It's just going to be a matter of time before they end up seeing the field for Alabama. I think Olaus Alinen is a guy that I'm very excited about. He's mainly played guard both on the left and on the right side, mainly on the left, though. He could end up being in that left guard conversation. I don't think so, but he could also, during the springtime, he worked a lot at the tackle position as well. So God forbid something happens at that tackle position. You are not very deep in terms of depth at that position. I think Olaus Alinen is probably, total guess here, maybe Arkel Anugwom as well. But I kind of think I lean more towards Olaus Alinen kind of being that offensive tackle 3 for Alabama this year. William Sanders has not played too much. Rock Montgomery has played 94 snaps at that right guard spot. Joseph Ionata has played a little bit of center. Casey Poe, only 8 snaps in his career. Like I said, Arkel Anugwom, you got him out of the transfer portal as well. Has played a little bit at that left tackle spot, but not a ton. So when you're talking about this depth for Alabama, I think the biggest thing that you're thinking about is the tackle spots, because you don't really have a ton of depth there. I think the interior, you're probably, at least you got bodies there along the interior, and you have, like we said, Geno VanDeMark, Cam DewBerry, Olaus Alinen. At least you got 3 guys there as well that can play those guard spots along with Jaeden Roberts as well. But then, like we talked about a little bit earlier, there are a couple of freshmen on this offensive line who, if somebody F's up, if somebody's not playing well, if somebody gets hurt, I think Michael Carroll or Jackson Lloyd have the potential to play this season if something happens. I'm not saying it will happen. Really hope it doesn't happen. I hope they're not forced into that kind of role. If something does happen, I kind of hope it is Michael Carroll, but, we'll see. Jackson Lloyd up there as well. The coaching staff was really impressed with both of those guys in the springtime. I heard a lot of positive things about Mal Waldrep as well. Somebody that's coming in a little bit, lower ranked, outside the top 300 here. A lot of people, weren't super excited about a guy like Mal Waldrep coming in last year in this offensive line class. But, we heard a lot of positive things about these freshmen. There's going to be a whole lot of things that they need to do to get better and just continue to develop. Obviously, they're going into their first summer right now, as college football players. So the future's really, really looking bright for Alabama. They also have some really solid offensive linemen coming in that 2026 recruiting class as well. It's, there definitely are some question marks along this offensive line, but overall,
I think they're going to be pretty good next season. Hopefully, they can really, really solidify themselves in the run game this season.